Welcome to Everything Goes Via Youth Edition. Today we'll be speaking with someone who holds leadership in our city, someone who makes decisions that affect neighborhoods like ours. We want to understand not just the rules, but the story behind it. This conversation is about journey, responsibility, community, and truth. Let's begin. Hi, I'm MJ, and I'm 12. Here's my co-host, Emmanuel.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel. I'm 13 years old, and I also attend Excel Academy.
Hi, my name is Emery. I'm 14 years old.
Now that we have introduced the co-host, we have a special guest over. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what inspires you?
Yes, I would. First, I want to thank you all for having me out here today. This is truly a pleasure to sit amongst great young leaders who are taking the charge in this process. So, thank you again for having me out. My name is Tanitha Pearll Warren. I am a spoken word artist. I'm a comedian. I'm a mother, a grandmother. I'm also a Hennepin County foster parent. I'm an author. And I'm also a candidate for Minneapolis City Council Ward 5. Currently in employment, I am the homeownership development manager for Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity. So I have the privilege of working with a multitude of moderate income families to advance homeownership through Habitat. So those are just some of the things that I do.
That's very
Interesting.
That's very not what Emery said. Hey,
All right.
let's start with your path into leadership.
What inspired you to want to become a city council member?
That is a wonderful question. What inspired me to become and to run for city council was basically the fact that currently I live in my community and I absolutely love my community. I have the privilege of working with families on a day-to-day basis, building winners. And I want to continue to see people win. Because of the value that I have for my community and the members in it, I want to make sure that they always have a seat at the table in decision-making processes. I want to see the livability in my community improved. I want to see our young people thriving, right? I want to see our community develop economically so that our dollar continues to circulate throughout our community and just create clear, positive, and healthy pathways for people to advance and define success for themselves.
That's very inspiring.
Yes, very inspiring. I will see why you like to inspire. Well, I'll see why that inspires you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Did you always see yourself a leader role when you were our age?
Ooh, that's a really tough question. So just a little bit about my growing up here in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, really, I should say. Um, I was, I'm a 70s baby. So I'm about 49 years young. All right. And this is my 49th year around the sun. So growing up, I was a very kind of timid child because there was a lot of racism, a lot of institutionalized racism, a lot of marginalization that happened within communities where our voice and young people's voices were really kept out of conversations as it pertained to leadership. So it took a while for me to step into myself. And I remember being in fourth grade at Field Elementary School in South Minneapolis. And I had a very inspiring teacher. Her name was Miss Digby, Vicky Digby. And she provided me with a book and she encouraged me to write and started writing my poetry and started writing and sharing my story. Well, I was afraid when she announced that I had been working on that project with her to improve my literature and comprehension skills, right? So someone helped to plant that seed in me, right? And when she wanted me to get up before the class and read some of the things that I had written, I was terrified. I did not want to lead any part of that. So it took a while for me to step into my own. But as a young person within your guys' age, I saw the value and the impact that I could make in really speaking up. So I just encourage you all to do that and take advantage of those opportunities to speak up when asked.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess that does very lead into our next question. Who did you look up to most and why?
Wow. My parents, first of all, my mother, rest her soul, she passed away in 2020, but she was a great inspiration to me. My stepmother, my dad's second wife, also great inspiration. I loved to read as a child. We had one TV in our house, and it was guided permission and asked to watch it. So there was not a plethora of television and one house phone, okay, with a long phone cord to it. So,
Yep.
you know, communicating with friends, those kind of things happened outside. I did a lot of reading, but I was definitely inspired by Maya Angelou and Jamaica Kincaid and Sonia Sanchez and, Zora Neale Houston, lots of writers, and lots of women in my circle and community. My grandmothers and aunts and things also were a big part of my inspiration. Uncles, everybody, family inspiration.
That's wonderful.
They're beautiful.
Well, my next question leads to this. How can young people like us help build that kind of community?
That is an excellent question. Bring your authenticity to the table at all times. Don't be afraid to speak out. If you see something and it doesn't sit right with you, advocate for change. Young people are the greatest change agents there are. There's an African proverb that says, when you go into the village, you ask, how are the children, right? Because the condition of our children speak to the condition of our future. And I believe that young people should definitely always be at the table in any great decision-making process, because you're going to lead the charge. I'm only here for a season, a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
Soon you'll be tying my shoes somewhere in the nursing home, and I'll be inspired by watching you continue to carry the baton through the relay race,
Yeah.
And so, but you got to condition yourself. And part of that conditioning is really stepping up, speaking up, and taking advantage of those opportunities that present themselves to you. And if they don't, create those opportunities like what you guys are doing here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk specifically about being a Black woman in leadership.
What does it mean to you to be a Black woman in leadership?
To be a Black woman in leadership really is instrumental. And I would say that it's valueless. For the longest time, seeing Black women in position of power or in leadership was absent. I grew up in an era where I didn't even see images of myself advertised on commercials, in dolls at the store, or what have you. So to see Black women stand up, advocate for community, advocate for, the things that we know and understand based on our lived experiences it's valueless, and it's extremely instrumental.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can relate a lot to that because, like I said, before this actually started, I am in a leadership role at my school, and it's one of the highest roles as a student can be in, more like student council,
Okay.
And before I joined, I was really like, there wasn't a lot of girls like me. There's girls in there, but they weren't like me, They weren't out there. They weren't as loud, as vibrant as I was and I am with my leadership now. And I just have to remind myself that I am my own person, And I try to keep in mind that not everybody's the same. Everybody's different with their own leadership roles, and just I gotta be myself.
Right.
Say
Right.
for you,
Right.
say for you.
Right. And that's the thing. If you don't bring yourself to those points, you kind of become the missing puzzle in the piece.
Yeah.
The missing piece in the puzzle, I should say, so you have to know when and where and how to insert yourself. And sometimes just being present in a space is loud enough, leadership also, you say being a Black woman in leadership doesn't always mean that I'm in the front.
Yeah.
Sometimes the one sitting back can see the furthest, right? So I can sit back in spaces and just be present and watch things and how they move. And it gives me the navigational courage that I need in order to be able to move the way that I need to move, right? Yeah. Or even to help guide people on the moves that we need to make together, because it's collective efficacy. You can't lead if there's no one to follow or to walk beside you, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta know where your positional power is and where you can make the most impact.
Yeah, that's what I've been
sometimes you gotta be a follower, because I'm also in leadership, and I'm following Emery because she's one of the leaders of my house.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're being groomed in this process, right?
Yeah.
To know and understand what it takes in order to build those measurements for yourself. So she's gonna pass the torch to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, I could also feel the same way too, because like when I'm also in leadership class too, and we're all in the same class, I could also say the same, because I sit back, I watch, I absorb others, and because I want to be who they are right now, because where Emery's going to the next level, it's pretty high knowledge.
I love that. And we aim to inspire each other, and that's what it's all about. We have to make it infectious. Let your awesomeness be contagious. That's a word that I have to give credit where this word came from. One of my poet sisters, rest her soul, Miss Essence, she would use the phrase awesome-tagious, that your awesomeness is contagious, right? So you have to be awesome-tagious in that you're doing, because that inspires other people.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's so heartwarming.
That was actually great. You ever felt pressure to represent more than just yourself? How do you handle that?
I want to say that I got to go to a conversation that I had with my father at a young age. Okay. You guys are familiar with Guess gear, right? Guess, the labels. Okay. So Guess came out. I was in middle school, entering middle school, and my dad was taking me school shopping. Right. And so we went out to the mall and we're doing this school shopping, and I wanted all of this Guess gear. Like everything had to be Guess. And so my dad was like, what is this that you are, what is this image that you are trying to represent or replicate, right? And I was like, all the kids are wearing it. This is what everybody's doing. They're all wearing Guess, Dad. So I got to wear Guess if I want to be part of this in crowd of kids. Everybody's wearing Guess. He said, well, guess who needs to learn how to be a better version of themselves? Guess who needs to learn how that they make the brand, not the brand defines who they are. And it was really at that point, I understood some of what he was saying, but he's like, you leave out of the house, you don't just represent yourself. You represent the family that you come from. You represent our morals, our values. Everything that you come in contact with becomes an extension of where you come from, right? Yeah. And so there's lots of times where you may be pressed upon to rep something that may not sit right in your spirit, but you got to hold integrity to your morals and values and the commitments that you make to yourself. And that's how I handle it. I let my no be my no and my yes be my yes. Yeah. And it's hard sometimes because people will be like, oh, well, Pearl, you're not on that, or you're not this, that, and the other. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm about. And I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And it can make it challenging sometimes to align yourself or not align yourself with different people, but people will have a lot more respect for you when you stand for yourself and your brand than if you fall victim to anything and represent it just for namesake, just for showpiece, you know? Because just like that guest, you grow out of it, you know? It doesn't come with you to stay, right?
Yeah.
So
That's actually speaks to me a lot because, you know,
I was speechless. I go with speechless.
I've actually only have went to uniform schools, you know, like even though I've been to a lot of schools my whole life, but none of them I got to wear whatever I want to wear. So it doesn't matter what anybody else is wearing because you're wearing the same thing. It's uniform school.
right.
But, you know, most of the schools you were able to wear whatever shoes you wanted or like your Chromebook case or like, you know, your hair, your glasses, other accessories other people had. Like New Balance shoes are, you know, starting to be popular. It was popular for a while now, but you know, I still when they first started getting popular in my class or my school, I wanted them so bad. I was so just jealous and envious of everybody, but I was like, I gotta get over that.
Yeah.
Because it's materialistic stuff. Yeah. They're just shoes. Yes, they matter.
Right.
You know, and also we're gonna grow out of shoes.
Right.
Like literally and figuratively.
Right.
So
Yeah. I could also say the same because before I went to Excel, right? Because I went to Excel in the middle of first grade. I went to Questview before I went to Excel. I was a new student, right? And like people just used to see me like, oh, it's just a regular boy. He doesn't do that. He's just quiet. I just wanted to show that I'm more than just a regular boy who's quiet. So like me seeing these things, I want them. I want that. No, I just waited till like I was more mature enough to get it. So like once I get it, I see the real value of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
And that's another thing too. Yeah, seeing the value in stuff when you work for it and you know, it means something more to you when you understand what your moral compass is and where you understand where your value is and who you are. It doesn't make a difference about what you wear or what you don't wear or, how you wear your hair or whatever else the case is, people tease me about having locks, or, oh, your hair is untamed or it's unmanaged, it's styled now. But hey, we go through our days of whatever it is, but I'm nappy rooted. I'm tight and woven together. I am that new growth,
Great.
It is my crown, right? And the strength is there. And so, don't ever feel like you have to dim your light or small yourself or compromise who you are, regardless to whether it's a brand you're repping or a group of kids that you want to hang with or a sports team that you want to play with or a fraternity or sorority or whatever it is that you want to join or be a part of. If they don't line up with where you are in here, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So with that, I would like to ask, how do you bring your culture, family, or background into your leadership roles?
They're with me every day, all of it. That's who I do it for.
Yeah.
I do it for the love of the culture, because Black identity has been one of the most difficult things for us to define.
Yeah.
Because there hasn't been a cultural conclusion, right? We conclude so many different things around Black identity and our compass of who we are and where we come from, countries that we derive from and origin and things like that. So, but I center that in everything that I am. People say, well, Pearll, what are you? I'm a universal Black woman, because I'm everywhere and there's no place I'm not. If Black is a color without measure, I'm everywhere. You can't measure, it's that ripple effect. So I get the opportunity to, bring my children through this process with me. They've been a part of my campaign, and I have a 9-year-old daughter. I have 6 children. So I have a 9-year-old daughter who is my junior campaign manager, and she is so excited that I'm running for office, she's handing out flyers about my campaign on the school bus to her friends. Well, I'm going to have all my friends' parents vote for you, you know, because they're definitely a part of the process. They're a part of my work that I do in housing, and knowing the value of what stability means for families to have a place to call home, and knowing what that means to me. And I tell my clients that I work with, whether they're renters or homeowners, I wouldn't advise you to stay anywhere that I wouldn't lay my head or allow my children to lay their heads. So you keep those family values and that culture component in aspect of all things that you do. And it's definitely something that I embody.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like I'm relating to you a lot.
I love this.
Yeah. So my dad actually was also in a lot of leadership roles, but he was more of like a, not necessarily civil rights activist, but
Okay.
I say cultural activist. That's more broad.
I love that.
And he worked with different organizations across since I was like around maybe 7. So, and I remember like he used to have to take me with him when it was his weekends to have me, and I just would love to just participate and be a part of the conversation, because even though like like I said, I was like 7, I was young, I still was black, like
Yeah.
I was still a girl. I still had a point of view, a say so in the conversation. I felt like, so I feel like being around him, also seeing how he led, because my dad has very powerful voice. He's not afraid to speak up about anything. And so I feel like seeing him conquer that and, be the way he was and so loud and vocal, it really brought me to where I am, and my leadership roles. So
I love that.
Wow.
I love that. Yeah, I've had my my children to participate in lots of parts of the campaign. Hosted a lot of Kwanzaa festivals throughout the Twin Cities, and would have my kids get up and sing and share poetry. My children are also lover of the arts as well. So highlighting them throughout my journey. I'm always talking about my children and my family. So, because that's a big part of who I am. It shaped who I am today, and I'm thankful for that.
yeah, well, it's great.
Before we wrap up, we would like to hear some advice for students who also want to lead in the future.
Well, what more can I say? I think that, young people just, as I said before, continue to make yourself a part of the process. Question adults. Ask questions. You can never ask enough questions. Seek answers, for yourself. Make sure that you are attentive in your listening, but also do your research. Don't take anybody's word for face value. Go and do your research, do your homework, and make those choices for yourself. And if it doesn't sit right, come up with another solution and insert your piece. There are a lot of young people right now who are lobbying and instrumenting a lot of policy for change within, the states. Here in Minnesota, I met a young man at our DFL convention, who 17, 18 years old, who had stumbled upon, going over there to the Capitol and was able to help to instrument some policy. So young people are definitely change agents. You have a great deal of value in community. So stay true to yourself, be vocal, exercise, get out there, continue the practice of the work that you're doing, but never think that you're too young or too small or invisible when it comes to decision making.
Yeah, I could definitely speak to that because, like I said, when I was younger, my dad, but I worked with it was a separate organization, but he helped lead it for a little while. We helped advocate for those in need, basically. So we decided that we were going to give some money. We were going to donate to nonprofit organizations, and it was me and a bunch of other youth, who were less fortunate or who could speak to the causes that we were advocating for. And that also helped us pick those organizations that we chose. I can't remember off the top, but I can remember the one that I picked specifically. I picked Don't Shoot Guns, Shoot Hoops, which is an organization that works to keep kids off the streets, basically. I love that. Gun violence.
That's
That's actually
Yeah, I can speak a lot to that because, not to get too deep or nothing, but living on the north side for a lot of my life, that's dangerous. It's not safe sometimes, is what I'm gonna say. So I really advocated for that, and we ended up donating to them. And I can't say where the money went now because the organization it was just a summer thing, but we helped do that, and we all felt empowered in our roles. We all felt great about ourselves, and we know we helped those people feel good about themselves too, because we don't like no money for that cause. So
I'm a Northside Minneapolis candidate for Ward 5. So that's North Minneapolis.
yeah,
And we are working diligently to change that narrative. And really, we want our young people to feel safe. We don't want you to feel like it's not safe to go in all of the beautiful parks and the greenery that we have. We want you to be able to enjoy that. We want people to enjoy coming to North Minneapolis because it is a beautiful mosaic gateway with a lot of history and a lot of love in that community. Yeah.
Another thing is, what is one lesson that you learned the hard way and that you wish you knew sooner?
Oh boy, a lesson I learned the hard way. Oh man. Let's see. There's a lot of them. I'm just trying to figure out which one I should tell. Because as I stated before, I got a lot of lived experiences.
Yeah.
I guess I would say that when it comes to standing up and standing up for your rights and things like that, know who to ask the questions to.
Yeah.
And go talk to decision makers. I could say I wasted, and not necessarily wasted, but learned valuable lessons by sharing information with individuals who didn't necessarily have the same mental alignment or my best interest at heart, right?
Yep.
And so I shared my platform or thoughts and ideas with people, and it didn't go the way I wanted it to go, right? So I had to, go back to the drawing board. And that was hard. That was really hard. But as we are creators, all of us here, we have the opportunity to infinitely create. And so that's why I said create pathways. If they don't exist, make them. And I stepped out and was like, yep, this is what I want to do. And this is the change that I want to make or the impact that I want to make in telling my story. And I was able to do it. And I created my own program and got the opportunity to develop my own curriculum and go and share those things with people and help a lot of young folks in different spaces. So I've been happy about that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. If we want to be future winners too, should we start doing today?
Today, you should keep doing exactly as you're doing, MJ. I think you're doing great. Continue to be vocal. Step out on faith. You have an idea, plant that seed and start working on it. Just continue to stick with it. Love your passion. People, say, well, Pearl, why did you choose the color green for your campaign? It's my heart chakra. It's also my birthstone. If my heart's not in it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Love what you do. Love all aspects of what you do. Fall in love with your past, your present, and anticipate your future. That's what I would say. Fall in love with yourself, who you are. Challenge yourself daily. Put you a vision board up. The things that I've heard you guys before we started the podcast talking about, marine biology and entrepreneurship and engineering and, doing all of these wonderful things that you want to do, so many different things. You can do all of those things. And every aspect of the things that you are doing promotes leadership in every form. You're a change agent. So be that change agent for change and start making those changes that you want to see. Be the change that you want to see. And I think you guys are on the right path. This is truly been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. I will do the outro, Martin. Well, so since that has been the end of our questions, thank you for sharing your story with us. You've given us more than answers. You've given us a blueprint.
Yep.
This has been Everything Goes Media, Youth Edition. Until next time, stay curious, stay aware, and stay involved.
A champion, ain't nothing that can't be done. Oh yeah, I put it all on the line. Definition of divine.
Yeah, I feel like a champion. Ain't nothing that can't be done. They told me I wouldn't be nothing. Came on down second to none. I need me a trophy, I need me a ring. I'm not with the bull, but keep it a beam. Know what it is, you know what I mean. Shit, all I do is win, 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 win. Haters wanna hate, they ain't make top 10. Double, triple team, what they need to defend. I juke left and I'm gone with the win. I'm gone with it.
I feel like a champion. A champion. Ain't nothing that can't be done. Oh yeah, I put it all on the line. Definition of divine. I feel like a champion. A champion.